Welcome to The Interest. I'm Katie Jensen. We'll kick off today's show with some wise words from our own Vincent Valvo in Poetic Moments in Mortgage. And after the past few years, you never know which way the wind will blow in this market. Luckily, we have our own Sarah Wolak to share what the market forecast will be in NMP's mortgage meteorology. But first, we'll take a look back at last year's annual New England Women in Banking Conference, where powerful women are paving the way for the next generation of female professionals to reach higher levels of success in the industry. Most of the conversations focused around 4 common fallacies that women are susceptible to believing when they're outnumbered and outranked by men. Plus, we truly learn what it means to think like a man. Stay tuned.
I feel like work-life balance is some kind of concept that a corporate group, probably Walmart, I can say that because they're in my hometown, that they created just to say that they were doing something to help the culture at their organization.
Natalie Bartholomew, community president for Arkansas-based First Community Bank, addresses the myths behind work-life balance and how women are realistically in a state of unbalance all the time. Bartholomew says the best so-called balance women can achieve is by switching up those priorities so none are neglected. There's no perfect 50-50 split.
I really feel that since the pandemic, well, leading up to the pandemic, we were all in this kind of toxic hustle culture. We are learning to somehow operate at a constant burnout capacity.
The second fallacy is that women will get ahead in their careers by becoming a yes woman, a habit that stems from people-pleasing and toxic hustle culture, which women are more susceptible to compared to men. Instead, Roxanne Emmerich, founder at Institute for Extraordinary Banking based in Minnesota, offers different ways women can stand out in the workplace that won't lead to burnout.
I asked several of you as I was walking around this morning going, so what's your net interest margin? And several of you said, I don't know. And I said, you're never going to say that again. Okay, men in this industry understand that language.
Think like a man, says Emmerich, who has helped many women become CEOs of banks. And by think like a man, she means think outside the box that is your department. If you want to be a bank executive, you need to start thinking like one. But thinking like a man does not mean having to ignore the fact you're a woman. When someone challenges those boundaries, Emmerich says it's best to respond graciously.
My manager pulled me inside and said, you don't need to go to the striptease bar with the guys so you can fit in better. It's not about being righteous and telling them that they're wrong. It's about being gracious, and it's kind of like no, I won't do that.
To read more about the 4 common fallacies, as well as Emmerich's advice to women scaling their careers in the pitfalls of perfection, check out the latest issue of Mortgage Women magazine at nationalmortgageprofessional.com. For The Interest, I'm Katie Jensen.
We all dream of owning a home, but for too long, if you didn't fit the mold, you were stuck. Stuck because the system worked for everyone except you. We've changed that. Angel AI uses advanced AI technology to give a 100% trusted solution and fast answers for worry-free financing, allowing you to achieve fair and equal access to lending. Angel AI, AI you can bank on.
With mortgages and houses so grand, there's a merry band of brokers who stand with suits all pressed and ties just right. They're ready to battle from morning till night. They gather round with papers in hand, each one eager to be the top in the land. Their voices are smooth, their smiles so bright, as they charm their clients with all their might. Oh, dear borrower, let me be your guide. I'll find you a mortgage with nothing to hide. They promise low rates and fees so fair and whisper sweet nothings about how much they care. But behind the scenes, it's a fierce affair as each broker schemes to outdo and outflare. They'll wine and they'll dine, they'll schmooze and they'll schmear, all in the name of being the top broker here. They'll crunch the numbers, they'll play the game, they'll do whatever it takes to win a claim. For in this world of loans and rates, being number one is what truly equates. So Here's to the mortgage originators, bold or blue. May your pipelines be full and your clients true. And as you compete in this crazy race, remember to laugh and keep up the pace. For in the end, it's not just about the dough, but the joy of the journey and the friends you know. So keep on brokering with humor and glee. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the top of the spree.
Welcome back to this week's Mortgage Meteorology, where we'll touch on all things to do with the overall climate of the housing market, not just in our neighborhood, but yours too. Kicking today off, home foreclosures are in the hot seat. Last week, Adam released its February 2024 foreclosure report, and the results aren't so sunny. There were just under 33,000 U.S. properties with foreclosure filings, and while that's cooled down 1% from last month, it's still up 8% from a year ago. But keep in mind that that's just filings. February saw about 3,400 U.S. properties repossessed through completed foreclosures, which thankfully is a cool 14% drop from last month and 11% from a year ago. Let's look at some areas that saw the greatest number of property repossessions, or REOs, among the metropolitan areas with a population of at least 200,000. Cities that saw the greatest number of REOs included Chicago, Illinois with 207 REOs, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania with 182 REOs, New York, New York with 173 REOs, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with 105 REOs, and Detroit, Michigan with 88 REOs. In other news, last week's Consumer Price Index numbers show that inflation heated up rapidly by 3.2% in the year through February, faster than the Fed expected. For the month, the core CPI warmed up by 0.4%. Even though the CPI has significantly cooled since mid-2022's peak, we're still above the Fed's target 2%. And unfortunately, housing costs have been stubborn to cool off, which keeps a lingering pressure on the market as a whole. The Fed is set to postpone rate cuts until the summer. Here's hoping that inflation cools soon and offers some relief as the hot summer weather approaches. I'll meet you back here next week for your updated housing market barometer.
For more on these and all of today's top stories, go to nationalmortgageprofessional.com.